Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Quick rundown of some of the top headlines, May 19th, 2025. In the Diddy Trial, Dawn Richard took the stand today, exactly 41 weeks after her 41st birthday. And, of course, she's part of the group that Diddy created on MTV called Danity Kane. And look at the gematria of Danity Kane, 41. So exactly 41 weeks after her 41st birthday, today's news. And we talked about this number in the ritual when she filed the lawsuit on September 10th, which got a whole lot of attention 6 days before Diddy's arrest, where literally every trial or story related to Diddy's arrest and now this trial has been by the numbers. Again, you learn this simple code of ABC 1, 2, 3. You see through the ritualism. Again, if you're new here, this practice coding numbers into words comes from Kabbalah, thus the term the Cabal. And that's who controls your information each day, the Cabal. That's why it's done this way every day, and it's totally verifiable. Also, from the day she filed the lawsuit to today's 251 days later, the 54th prime, you might have saw the bodyguard take the stand in the news wearing a 54 jersey. Of course, I told you in the lead up to him being arrested, before anything went down, I said Diddy would probably go down at age 54, just like R. Kelly. We said that while he was 53, about a year from turning 54. Again, 54 is the number of the Jesuits who gave you the language and the calendar and who are behind these rituals. And they made it real obvious with R. Kelly because they sentenced him to prison on the anniversary of them being recognized by the Roman Catholic Church. If you don't know who the Jesuits are, it means you should probably turn off the TV and do some research. They're pretty much the reason this country exists. A lot of the founders were trying to escape the Catholic Church and its tyranny executed by the Jesuits in Europe. That's the problem with this country. Everybody knows who Diddy is. Nobody knows who the Jesuits are. The things founders spoke about when the country's being founded, how the Jesuits could subvert the nation. If you missed the prior work on Dawn Richard and her lawsuit on September 10th, which got a lot of attention the following day, September 11th, the day of the MTV Video Music Awards. Again, that was filed 55 days before Diddy's 55th birthday, going with her having the connection through the MTV show where MTV is 55, and the name of that show was Making the Band 55, and Kim Porter's 55. And again, the lawsuit said that she saw Diddy abusing Kim Porter. So anyhow, also in the news, Emile Kiser, her 3-year-old son. This is the second TikTok influencer in a week that's had something death-related. These are major TikTok influencers. People getting big views, second TikTok-related death. And if you read this story, it was actually put out by the authorities last week about the death of her son on May 14th. That was the same day the other TikTok influencer was killed while live streaming, reportedly being shot in her salon. But of course, May 14th, 2025 was the kill date for the month. If you're new here and you don't know what the kill date is, last week it was the 23-year-old TikTok influencer on May 14th. Again, the kill date's the date that has numerology paths as 64, 44, and 28. That fell on May 14th this month. Next month it'll be June 13th, and it'll be July 12th and August 11th, so on. But kill equals 64, 44, and 28. So anyway, on this same day, May 14th, it was announced that this TikTok influencer lost her 3-year-old son, who had reportedly drowned 3 days earlier on May 11th. And of course, the majority of the world writes May 11th, 11/5, like 115. Notice how Emile Kiser equates to 115, just like killing. Her son's name was Trig. And notice, again, if you're new here, these are the base ciphers of the English language. The alphabetic order, A is 1 up to Z is 26. The reverse alphabetic order, Z is 1 back to A is 26. Both orders with numerology applied. You can see how trig and drown have perfect overlap in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. 74, 61, 29. And again, like I said, these platforms are controlled And it's just like it's pretty much social media is the new mainstream media. These people who are getting crazy views seem to be doing the same things for the people who want to make it in show business, sacrificing their loved ones and sometimes even their own life. So Emile Kiser, 115, like killing, loses her son on 11/5, the 11th of May. And it's announced on the kill date by the authorities, and her son's name just happens to have a triple overlap with drown. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Also today, May 19th, the CBS News president steps down from pressure from the Trump administration over the whole 60 Minutes debacle. And remember, that whole story broke about a month before the 60th U.S. presidential election. Couple years after Trump's ex-wife fell down the stairs and died, exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year on the same day he said he'd run in the 60th election. But notice this CBS head steps down 119 days after the administration took office. CBS is the all-seeing eye network. We've talked about 119 with CBS rituals about 1,000 times over the years. Here's the latest. 119 days into the administration, this death. The woman who stepped down, her name is Wendy McMahon, has the same gematria as Donald Trump. From the Trump controversy beginning on the first day of October to this resignation 33 weeks later, federal equals 33 and 138. First day of October, the only 33-month October Masonry federal secrecy order, all 33. Again, the Masonic city is the federal city, named after the Mason George Washington. The first degree of Freemasonry is the honored apprentice, not too far off from the apprentice, like the chump. And again, his name equals 60, going with the whole 60 Minutes debacle. I noticed her Wikipedia also refers to her as Wendy A. McMahon, which is 139. She steps down on the 139th day of the year. Keep in mind, Freemasonry equals 139, as does America. And then the other big story today, Trump says Russia and Ukraine are beginning to negotiate a ceasefire. Remember, Trump's number 47, Ukraine equals 47. Zelensky turned 47 5 days after Trump took office, when Trump also equals 47. Whole thing's been a major ritual to siphon more U.S. taxpayer dollars for the New World Order. But today's 224 days after Putin's 72nd birthday. The Society of Jesus equals 224. Jesuit Order equals 72. It's 114 days after Zelensky's birthday. Art of War equals 114. Again, that text is known because of the Jesuit priest, Father Amiot, who translated it in 1773. And today's 339 days after Trump's birthday. United States of America equals 339. Team America World Police, after a phone call, has them supposedly negotiating the ceasefire. And yeah, again, we covered the latest Joe Biden news. If you missed that video's out there. About the June 6th prediction, I forgot to mention how they called him Celtic. That's the Celtics' birthday. It's also the anniversary of RFK's death. And, of course, RFK and Joe Biden both have the November 20th birthday. If you don't know what I mean with the June 6th prediction, see yesterday's video. So that's the latest. And we got a busy house over here, so hope you can make it through all the background noise. Until next time, true